Welcome and thanks for joining us today. My name is Blakely and I'll be co-hosting the webinar this afternoon with Amanda. And today we're just going to be covering some steps that you can take to prep for the summer. So here at Imegify, we're in full swing planning for the summer and fall term. So we want to make sure that you are also thinking about your plans for the summer and the next term as you wrap up your spring semester. Our webinar today is going to cover billing setup for summer and fall, establishing a contact plan for the summer, tax filing, and officer purchasing cards. Just a few things to keep in mind before we get started is that this is a general Vault webinar. So if you have specific questions about how your chapter or your national organization handles something, please just reach out to the appropriate support email address with those specific questions. Any other questions, feel free to drop in the chat and we will answer those as we go. So let's first talk a little bit about summer billing setup. If your chapter is planning to bill dues or rent charges for the summer term, we want you to encourage you to go ahead and set yourself and your chapter up for success by planning ahead and going ahead and getting that summer and fall billing established. If you're looking at adding charges and you're not sure how to do that, go ahead and reach out to the support email for your chapter or national group, or you can also use the billing setup tool to establish charges. If you don't plan to bill scheduled charges for your members this summer, it is still best practice to go ahead and set up summer reminder statements. These statement cycles have no scheduled charges, but what they do is ensure that statements go out to members with existing balances or members who may accrue incidental transactions over the summer, such as t-shirt or event fees. And it also ensures that any existing balances continue to age appropriately. And if you already know your fall billing details, this is also a great time to establish fall billing. Setting up fall billing early allows for smooth transition into the new semester as you're juggling recruitment and moving back to campus and getting into classes. Imegify is currently running a promotion. Chapters that set up their fall 2022 billing by July 1st will be entered into a drawing for $1,000 in cash for their chapter. This is our biggest cold hard cash promotion yet. So you can set up your fall billing again by emailing your support team or using the Vault billing setup tool. We'll take a quick look now at how to use that setup tool. So you'll start by going to the billing tab, selecting billing overview, and then clicking setup billing. Next, you'll select the term for which you would like to set up a cycle. And once you select the term, it will pop down and ask you to set your first due date. Once you set your first due date, the statement dates will populate for the rest of the cycle based on however many cycles that you'd like to send. Summer is typically going to be 2 cycles to cover June and July. If you are in a quarter semester, you may have 4 cycles for the summer. Just totally depends on your chapter's schedule. You can also review the late fee options on this page. So if you want to turn late fees on or off, you'll notice that there are these little boxes next to each cycle date. If you uncheck the box, then late fees will be turned off for that cycle. And if you see any changes that you'd like to make to your late fee options, just reach out to your support email and we can help you get those updated. So once you've set up your dates, we're going to set charges by billing groups for any scheduled charges for that term. You're going to set a description, the type of charge, you'll select an income account that's appropriate for that charge, and then the amount that you would like to charge per cycle. Once you've set that up, you'll click Save to lock in your changes. If you need to add itemized charges, so if you want to have multiple line items, just click the plus button here to add additional charges. We went really into detail on how to set up billing in our March Vault webinar. And our Help Center can be accessed by selecting the Get Help link in Vault's navigation bar. If you go to that Get Help link, you can select the video and webinar section of the Help Center and see our March webinar for step-by-step instructions on billing setup. As you prepare for summer, we also want to encourage you to ensure that you have a plan for managing your chapter's finances with a busy summer schedule. Remember to regularly log into Vault to review your account and keep an eye on the email that you have on file to ensure that you don't miss important communications from Imegify. If you're currently receiving email notifications to your school email address, but you don't anticipate that you'll be checking that regularly this summer, we encourage you to let your support team know to reach out to your personal email instead, to make sure that you continue to get those important communications. Summer can be a particularly busy time for college students, and we're really aware of that. So if you're planning to travel extensively or take on a demanding internship, what you may want to do is designate a backup contact for your chapter. So this may be another officer who has vault access that you can designate as a secondary contact for us. And if you'll email your support team and just let them know who to include on any additional communications this summer, we can help you ensure that you maintain coverage. If you will not be present over the summer and are the sole holder of an officer purchasing card for your chapter, please also remember that officers should not be sharing those purchasing cards. If you need to add a card for your chapter officer, you'll submit a new card request under the Bill Pay tab and select Officer Purchasing Card. Amanda is going to talk a little bit more about officer purchasing cards and some best practices later on in the webinar. She's also going to talk to you a little bit about taxes next. So as you are preparing for the summer, this is a great time to go ahead and work on your taxes ahead of schedule. You can file your Form 990 ahead of any upcoming deadlines. So Amanda's going to now walk us through some FAQs regarding tax filing and officer purchasing cards.
Good afternoon. My name is Amanda, and today I'm going to give you information about tax filing and officer purchasing cards, just as Blakely mentioned. Each year, your chapter is responsible for filing a Form 990 with the IRS. Late filing or failure to file an annual return will result in IRS late penalties or fines. 3 consecutive years of non-filing will cause an exempt organization to lose their exempt status. So to begin, let's start by answering the question, when is your chapter's Form 990 tax return due? The Form 990 tax return is due to the IRS by the 15th day of the 5th month following your chapter's fiscal year end. And just as a side note, just because it's submitted on vault on the 15th does not mean it's been submitted to the IRS. Ideally, you should submit the 990 report no later than 2 weeks prior to the return due date. So with that being said, these are the dates your Form 990 tax return is due. May 15th for the fiscal year ending on 12/31. And for those chapters whose fiscal year ended 12/31, make sure you are responding to emails being sent out by our tax specialist so you don't lose your tax exempt status. The next date is October 15th for fiscal year ending 5/31 and November 15th for fiscal year ending 6/30. You can find your chapter's fiscal year end in Vault under the chapter menu and chapter detail, and you can file directly in Vault under the accounting menu and tax filing. Once you find out when your File 990 report is due and you're filling it out, there will be a question that asks, are your chapter's gross receipts 50K or less? Oftentimes this question is answered yes incorrectly, and answering it incorrectly will cause you to have to resubmit the form and delay the process. It is very important to check your income for the tax year before answering that question. So to check that, the steps are to click on the accounting tab and then select the income statement. Click on the report downward arrow and select the desired report, and then adjust the dates to match the tax period, and then you will click submit. If you determine your chapter's gross receipts are more than 50K, you will then need to reconcile your income expense report. The most common reason for an income expense form imbalance is that cash transactions have occurred during the tax period that are not recorded in Vault. Often this is because the organization has an external bank account outside of Vault. An example of an external bank account would be a checking or savings account your organization maintains at a local bank. If at any point during the tax year, your chapter transferred funds from Vault to an external cash account at a local bank, you must enter those transactions into the 990 report. You will need to have copies available of monthly bank statements for your organization's external bank accounts for each month of the tax period. If you are unsure or you have questions, you can reach out to our tax specialist at 990@omegafy.com, and you can also use our Vault Help Center, the tax filing tab there. So next we're going to go over officer purchasing cards. The officer purchasing card is OmegaFi's benefit to use in OmegaFi's Vault bill pay services. OmegaFi Officer Purchasing Visa Prepaid Card is a safe and convenient way to make purchases for your chapter. From the Officer Purchasing Card screen, you can view all cards associated with your chapter's bill pay account. You can view the balances on all cards, transfer funds to any active card, select a card from the list to view the card register, add a new card, and view any pending invites. To add a new card, you select Add Card. If you're adding the card for yourself, select For Me and complete the form. If you're adding a new card for another officer or advisor, select For Others and complete the form by selecting a name from the pick list and click Submit. The person you picked will receive an email invite with details on the program and instructions for enrollment. Each chapter is eligible for one free card, and each additional card ordered costs $10 per month, but is assessed annually in one installment of $120. When a transaction with the card is processed, the transaction will appear on the card registers as well as under Review Card Transactions. From here, you'll be able to code the expense to the appropriate expense account, attach the receipts, and add notes related to the purchase. A few tips to get the most out of your card: do not share your card with anyone, including other officers or members. To dispute fraudulent charges, call Brightwell's Fraud Department at this number, 404-855-2516. Use only secure and trusted websites for online purchases. Do not save your card information on any website, and be sure to sign out of a site after you complete your purchase. This is a prepaid card. Only keep the money you need on your card. Any excess funds should be transferred back to your bill pay fund. If you use your card for lodging expenses, for example, a hotel or Airbnb, expect an additional 20% hold on your available funds for security measures. We encourage you to load funds on your card to cover this additional amount. Regularly review your transactions. Take a picture or screenshot of your receipt immediately after your purchase. If you have not yet received your OmegaFi Officer Purchasing Visa Prepaid Card, it will arrive in a plain white envelope addressed to you within 10 to 14 days of the enrollment date. When you receive your card, immediately activate it. After your new card is activated, make certain to deactivate cards for any previous card holders and/or officers. You can also check out our Help Center by selecting the Get Help button in Vault. We have an entire section on bill pay and officer purchasing cards to help you along the way. And of course, if we don't have the answer you're looking for, you can click the support button. So we hope you found this webinar helpful today. Thank you for joining us, and have a great day.